bother you as much as possible, but it is going to bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human still. But um, but I was just referring to myself in the past.
Hello, welcome to the Prodigal Sons channel, and I'm here to host you. Today we are going to look at current events, actually in science and technology. But this information is only for those people who have woken up. The people who have not yet woken up may look at this information as shallow and scientific or something futuristic. But it's not. It's happening right in front of our eyes. Last week, I'm reading this article from Mail Online from Saturday, February 2nd, 2019, this year. There was this Las Vegas Convention Center whereby Psychosec is a company which deals with technology and stuff which they are already. Those people who have woken up can understand what I'm saying. When you see these kind of articles being brought on air, it means they have already done whatever they are saying, but they're just trying to push it slowly to the people who are sleeping so that they can be able to infuse it into themselves so that when it comes, it just looks like a joke. Anyway, this article says that bodies kept alive in plastic bags and lifeless, just don't forget that, lifeless blank humans. Do you know what is meaning blank humans? It means they have no soul. These are just bodies which have been made from the laboratory, okay? And these humans, they are calling them slaves, okay? But those slaves, they are waiting for something, one more thing to complete them so that they can be able to function like a normal human being. They're just waiting for consciousness to be uploaded. But how do you upload consciousness? It's because they have that ability to download consciousness. They did this from 1970s. Peter Better talked about it. 1978, he was talking about it. They can be able to download consciousness. So now, what they were missing, then at that time of Dr. Peter Better, what they were doing is that they were using this what do we call them? They were using holograms and they were using robotoids. But now they have managed to make a whole functional human being, which can be able to live for quite some time before breaking up. Okay, anyway, let's look at this article. They are saying bodies kept alive in plastic bags and lifeless blank humans ready for new consciousness to be uploaded. Controversial booth at CES claims to offer immortality. But is it all as it seems? The deep state is very smart. These people are very smart. What they do is like they introduce such kinds of things. These articles, they just let some people like Netflix to get this thing. Why not let a scientific journal, this information to come from scientific journal? It's because they know if they get from scientific journals, people will start questioning it and they will start believing it. But when they let people like company like Netflix to do it, Netflix is based mostly on movies and something like that. People will take it like a movie. But not me and those people, and not me and those people who are awake. They see. That's why now you find this article now they have introduced various adverts. It's just like in this article you can't read it because now there are so many adverts on top of the information because they want to discourage people from reading it. But either way, we are going to read it. Still, in other places, they're trying to say like Netflix is using this for scientific movie in future. That's bullshit. This thing is happening real. And you can see those bodies, they are real in Las Vegas. Anyway, let's continue. At the Sekach's booth at CES, what appeared to be human bodies were on display in glass cases and bags. Okay? The exhibitors introduced a plan for immortality by uploading your consciousness into lab-grown bodies. But at the end of the booth, it is revealed to be a bizarre marketing stunt for Netflix show, Altered Carbon. That's bullshit, my friends. Okay, for those people who are unawake, I'm sorry, man. There's no way I can explain this. You have to go find it for yourself. But for those people who are woken up, they know what I'm talking about. That's how now they are twisting this information. And that's why they are putting so many adverts on it, people not to be able to read. Let's continue down there. At one mysterious booth in the Las Vegas Convention Center this week, the reaction of passerbys has been unlike anywhere else. Of course, most people are sleeping, so what do you expect? They'll be wondering what is happening, you know. Okay, murmurs of, I don't like this, and no, this is too much for me. Of course, for those people who are sleeping, because they can't grasp this idea. It's so huge because they've been sleeping all the time, throughout. They don't know where to begin. They can't even conceive this idea. But for those people who are awake, they know because they have already seen it being done slowly and slowly over time. So, okay, could be heard at CES attendees crowded around this Sekasek setup, greeted by what appeared to be lifeless human forms. Appeared, you see there, the article said appeared. Actually, it's lifeless human forms on display in large glass cases. During a brief tour through the booth, exhibitors dressed in all white sold the idea of immortality. The deep state has been dying for this. They have been dying to look for this. They have been, from when they were trying to look for the philosopher's stone and changing whatever, leading to gold. They have been trying to look for these things where they can live forever, but it's not possible. Okay, through a plan to upload human consciousness to human sleeves. You know what they are saying? Human sleeves of whatever design you desire. But is it possible to make a human sleeve a body? Okay, then continue. Before concluding around the display of Joel, even they have given these bodies a name. A fresh sleeve in a vacuum sealed bag, breathing and eating through a tube. This is a body, man. This is a body, people. This is a body, a human body, which has been made, but it's blank. It has no soul. It has no spirit. Okay? But is it possible to do such a thing? Is it possible to create such a thing? Let's look. These people have been explaining to us. The deep state has been telling us over and over again how they do it. Just listen to this.
This Mengele was sort of a primitive geneticist in his own way, wasn't he? I understand that he experimented on human beings.
Twins.
Then he was nothing more than a sadist, really.
A sadist with an MD and a PhD?
Well, some people would say that's a perfect definition of a scientist. What exactly do you mean when you say the boys you saw were more than twins?
Not only did they look alike, but they were also very alike in personality.
That is unusual. Studies show that twins who are separated at birth develop totally different personalities.
But these twins, or perhaps I should say triplets, because I believe that my associates saw another, were like the same people, but brought up with different languages.
It's impossible, of course.
Excuse me, doctor, but what is impossible? What is impossible, doctor?
Mononuclear reproduction.
Oh, doctor.
Cloning. What if I were to tell you that I could take a scraping of skin from your finger and create another Ezra Lieberman?
I would tell you not to waste your time or my finger.
Anyway, that is cloning. It was first done with plants. A cutting taken from a plant and transplanted grew to be the exact duplicate of the donor plant. Now we are doing the same thing with laboratory animals.
You mean you can produce an animal from itself?
We take the unfertilized egg of an ovulating female and destroy all of its genes and chromosomes. We then implant the nucleus of the donor cell, which could be taken from a blood sample or even a skin scraping. That cell, with its genetic material intact, eventually becomes an embryo and is born as a living creature.
Without parents?
Well, it has no father because the egg was never fertilized, no mother because its genetic code comes from another being. Can you follow that?
And this creature is an exact duplicate of itself? Oh, doctor, how can that be?
Come along. Our experiments began with the simplest of animals, shrimps and frogs. Animals in which the female's eggs are fertilized externally. Then we moved on to mammals. We tried several laboratory animals and found the rabbit most convenient. I had to develop instruments which could accomplish the operation, and a whole micro-injection system. I'll show you how it's done. Here we are removing the eggs of a white rabbit from the fallopian tubes. Now, you see the egg under a microscope. I've brought the point of an ordinary sewing needle into view to give an idea of size.
They are that small?
Most mammal eggs are about that size.
Including human eggs?
Yes. The next step is to destroy the egg nucleus with ultraviolet light so that none of its genetic makeup remains. Now, you see an egg from a white rabbit ready to be injected with the blood cell from a black rabbit donor. With the injection pipette, one of the blood cells is sucked up and then injected into the egg. After a few hours, the eggs in culture divide and are ready to be put back into the female. There they grow into embryos, which in a month's time, the normal gestation period, they will become baby rabbits. In this instance, a black litter from a white mother and their black color proves that they have been cloned from the blood cell of a black rabbit.
But isn't it difficult to get the egg back into the female?
Transferring the eggs isn't a problem. We do that all the time with laboratory animals. The really tricky part is the microsurgery. Getting the donor cell into the egg. You're lucky if 1 in 10 survives.
And this can be done with humans?
If the surgical technique were precise enough.
It's monstrous, doctor.
Why? Wouldn't you want to live in a world full of Mozarts and Picassos? Of course, it's only a dream. Not only would you have to reproduce the genetic code of the donor, but the environmental background as well. Is Mengele trying to reproduce himself?
No. He has brown eyes and he comes from a very wealthy family.
Look at this photograph taken at that Las Vegas convention. That is a body. You have been told how it is made, but it is blank. Actually blank. No memories, no experiences, nothing. Just lifeless, blank. But it's waiting for something. Consciousness. But first of all, before we know how consciousness is downloaded, let's read what it is saying below that photo. During a brief tour through the booth, exhibitors dressed in all white sold the idea of immortality through a plan to upload human consciousness to human slaves of whatever design you desire. That's it. Because you can be able to get even a skin or a cell, a blood cell from anybody to just get the exact body. Okay? Before concluding around the display of Joel, picture a fresh slave in a vacuum sealed bag, breathing and eating through a tube. People, this is happening. I'm talking to those people who are awake. I don't have time to argue with those people who are still sleeping. They had better wake up. If they don't wake up, this train is moving fast. Anyway, let's continue with the article, what it's saying. Visitors who went through the tour were presented with a trailer. You see, they are mixing, what can I say? They are mixing scientific stuff and movie stuff and mixing it with the real thing. Scientific discoveries they have made. They are mixing them because a human being cannot be able to process both sides. He has either to think it's real or unreal. But when you bring the concept of Netflix in, it changes the whole thing, changes the whole idea. It looks like a movie, but it's not. It's real. Anyway, listen to this. Visitors who went through the tour were presented with a trailer for a Netflix show called Altered Carbon. Of course, you have seen this thing for this series for scientific series, sci-fi or Altered Carbon. But that's not the idea. Why present it there? This was just, I don't know. Man, they take us to be so stupid. But anyway, I continue. And gifted small Netflix branded goodie bags containing cortical stuck aftercare gel. Aftercare gel, my ass. Anyway, it may be one of the most bizarre Netflix marketing schemes here. It's not marketing, my friend. Deep State is just telling you what they are doing. They are so proud they can't do something and keep it hidden because it won't make sense. They have to get it in the air, but for people to see. But people who are sleeping cannot even conceive that the idea. Okay, going as far as plastering posters with boycott, Sek and immortality is immoral along the outside of the booth. Though an exhibitor insisted to dailymail.com that this had been done by anti-Sek protesters. You see those guys who are protesting, it's because they know. But you who is right now arguing about the whole thing is that you don't understand what they know. They know. They are open. They have already woken up. They know this is immoral. But you just eat your burgers, watch football, and still life is going on. Marry, go for dates, eat whatever. You do whatever you do, but soon this thing is just going on, and your kids are going to face this kind of scientific schemes and whatever it is. Okay, let's continue. But either way, it's not an exhibit you're likely to forget anytime soon. You can't forget. This thing is a nightmare, man. This is a nightmare. Okay? Pointing to the disturbing human slaves inside the neo-backlit cases, Arcade said these are 100% genetically homegrown organic slaves. They're not even calling them bodies. They are calling them slaves. It's the political language that now we have, politically correct language that now we have. Anyway, let's continue. These are made of skin, tissue, muscle, bone, nervous system, cells, everything that we have to generate ourselves to make our movements. These are made up of, the Sek exhibitor said. What they're talking about is that they are saying these are made of, they're just people, bodies of people, real people, but they have been lab grown, just like you had you are told how they are made. The same idea. Unlike all other booths at CES, none of the exhibitors at Sek had name badges because they don't want to be followed up. That's why they didn't have any name badges. They don't want it. Okay? Now, the whole idea of let's talk about now the downloading of this thing of downloading of consciousness. But before we do that, just look at these pictures. You can see even there's a woman there. I don't know, they're calling it a sleeve, but it's a human body. And there's a man there who is no soul, no spirit. Just look, when you look at these bodies, they have no soul and they have no spirits, okay? Just know that. Because they're not made from God. These things are man-made. But they need something to drive them. Okay? Okay, then let's listen how consciousness can be downloaded. We were told before by Dr. Peter Vetter, even though I don't know if they killed him or what, but something happened. Okay, let's listen.
Every Russian robotoid has what is called a holographic brain. This brain duplicates essentially the entire memory of a person being copied. The key to doing this is a new technique called an ultrasonic cerebral hologram. Using high-frequency sound waves, which are inaudible, a complete three-dimensional picture is made of a person's brain. This is a painless, non-destructive process, and under the proper conditions, it can be done without the person even being aware of it.
So you see, that's how they download your consciousness, or your brain, or your experiences. Do you know even they can give you experiences right now? Experiences you never had in your current brain. They can. Anyway, let's continue with the article. They are saying, these are consciousless sleeves right now. The presenter continues. We have developed a way to put your consciousness into these sleeves. They have developed a way. They developed it a long time ago. This is just history. Now, these sleeves can be genetically designed to be whatever you like. Yeah, whatever you like. But I doubt anybody, common man, can be able to afford this. Anyway, you can have a sleeve of yourself. You can have a sleeve genetically designed to whatever you want. Taller, shorter, muscular, better vision, faster, any race or any gender with your mind. The system relies on what the firm calls a cortical stack. I don't even want to know what that is. The so-called cortical stack is a small device that is inserted into the base of the spine in the human sleeve. Human body, okay? These guys are just psychotic, okay? Now, if you see they are bringing this into the light, it means they have already introduced them into the market. They're already there. Okay, let's continue there. Listen to here. The stack then interacts with the nervous system to essentially download your memories or you onto this device like backup hard drive, much like iPhone users do with the cloud, the presenter noted. The same thing, this will back up you, everything that makes up your personality. That means it's just making an extra human being, but with no soul, with no spirit, but can do anything. You think these things are not there in the society right now? They are there. They are there. But according to Peter Vetter, these bodies have a problem because they dehydrate very, very fast. Under stress, they can break up. Or they tend to consume a lot of water or something like that. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, the same thing. This will back up you. Everything that makes up your personality, the emotion, every memory, everything that is you is stored onto this cortical stack. The download information could then be transferred into the human sleeve in what's called a needle casting. I don't want to know what that means. As the sleeves are made of biological material, they still be susceptible to diseases and injury, the exhibitor said. But with the needle casting, a person could just transfer the information to new bodies as needed, therefore creating immortality. You let your mind live on. Do you see how these psychotic oligarchies are doing? They want to continue living when they are dead, but they are alive. Imagine with their kind of behaviors, and they are living on. Some guys are better off dead. Like now, if somebody is a killer, he's a real hardcore killer, a serial killer, and then you give him such things. This thing will continue to society even after the death of the original donor. That's the problem we have, because now we'll have psychotic Hitlers around, you know, and people who are they're not even people. Imagine they are soulless. What makes us to be people is souls. The soul has compassion. It has feelings. It has empathy. It has feeling of sadness, happiness. But these things don't have that. So imagine they are ruling you. They have no feelings. These guys want to exterminate feeling. Okay? It's just weird. But who knows? Anyway, I'll end up with this small video, and then you guys will talk another time. Thank you so much for listening to me. Those people who understand, like below. Those who don't, I don't know what to do with you. Because if you can't get such a small thing, there's nothing else you can get. Thank you.
Friends, and I want to cut. I love a certain kind of chocolate, and all of a sudden I start receiving advertisements. Well, the recent scandal is obviously frustrating, not only because it affected a message.
As we discussed in my office yesterday,
We're going to take a quick break. You're watching CEO.
Thank you. Are you familiar with Andrew Bosworth? Technology software we offer, Facebook's products are products, except where we expressly state that separate terms and not these apply. I'm a lawyer, have not.
I think we all agree that what happened here was bad. You acknowledged it was a breach of trust, and the way I explained it to
Judiciary and Senate Commerce Committees with the Facebook CEO talking about the data breach and election interference in 2016. Let's talk about it now briefly.
New family, or if there was a fake Facebook post of Chris Coons. I went to the one.
First round of questioning by about 1 a.m., so congratulations.